Hi, and welcome to another edition of Steve Hewitt Ministries podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hewitt, and today I'm really excited because you'll see on the other screen there we have a good friend of mine, Terry Wilhite. Of course, we got to do the commercial. We're promoting the book. Terry's read the book. We're going to talk a little bit about it. This is probably going to be 3 podcasts altogether because this podcast I just want you all to get to know Terry like I know Terry. But if you'd like to know about the book is Focus Christianity. You can find it at www.tinyurl.com/Steve Hewitt Ministries. It's $13.99 if you want the paperback. You can actually get the electronic version, I think, for $3.99. And I'm not making any money, so just hope you enjoy it. Terry, how
You
you
will.
doing?
Yep. Hey, I am doing well, and it's a fantastic book. I've enjoyed it. I just enjoy you, Steve. It's been a wonderful trip, and we were just taking a trip down memory lane.
Let's
It
do that
goes
just
way
a little
back.
bit. Let's do that just a
Yeah.
little bit. The way I know Terry is this. Back when I published Christian Computing Magazine, I think we published it for 27 years, and Terry wrote for us every month for about 15 years, in what we figured. Yeah.
I
And
think that's right.
he contacted me and said, "Hey, I'm sort of the guy when it comes to audio and visual. I remember you did a lot of visual stuff. That's when churches were just starting to use video."
It was such a fabulous period, but it so dates us, Steve.
I know.
It
Yeah, I know.
so dates us. If you look back at those issues that we did, it was helping churches. Corporate America had embraced PowerPoint, but
Yeah.
churches didn't even know what anything on the screen was back in that day, and
Yeah.
it had so much potential for ministry to be able to reinforce what was said and put it up on the screen. Of course, today it's just a old hat. It's just part of what
Yeah.
we do. But back then it wasn't. Helping churches go from cassette tape to CD, and then later on to DVD. That was big stuff. And so the articles that I wrote really were hand holding articles and how to articles of
I like
how
hand
you're doing
holding.
this, but you could be doing this, and here's how you get from here to there. So that's what I did for long time.
You
Yeah.
can't believe the struggle that we had with so many churches that almost split over stupid stuff like this
Yes.
because where's the best place for the screen? Right in the middle, behind the choir. What's normally behind the choir? The cross. And some people are
Yeah.
like, you're not going to take that cross down and put up a screen. And somehow that was going to, it was just incredible the struggles the church did to get
And this stuff
modernized.
wasn't cheap. I mean, this stuff was expensive.
Yeah.
And at my church, it was, oh my goodness, we can't afford that. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, have you asked anybody to fund this? And I said, you just
Yeah.
have to ask. And you know what? They asked, and somebody wrote a check for the entire thing. And so, I'm like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it was such a special time back in those days, and so much water under the bridge, so to speak, of churches that have made the plunge, and it just continues to get better and better and better. And you mentioned uh,
Go ahead.
in the prayer before this, the technology. Would you ever imagine that we'd have the technology to do exactly what we're doing right here? I would have
Yeah.
never imagined that.
It has crept up on us. It's amazing. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. People tell me, they say, "Well, we just can't." I don't know if any of us, even those that we work in this day in and day out, that we really can keep up. And then, a subject for another day. Then you've got AI. And I think AI now is sort of where we were back with cassette tapes going into CDs into DVDs. There's the natural inclination for some reason in the ministerial world is, oh my gosh, it's evil, it's about to take us over, and oh my goodness, let's shut it down, let's batten the hatches. And instead of saying, now, what can this do for me better than I can just do for myself? And nobody's asking you to set your own intelligence aside.
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where we were. For those that can't imagine back in those days, it's kind of like AI today. It's brand new. fairly new. And so there's a lot of natural resistance. People are scared, they're fearful. And so all we tried to do was reduce the fear and to, to be the guide from going from the older technology to the newer technology. It was fun. And I appreciate the opportunity that you gave me because it opened a lot
Oh,
of doors.
listen, it was great that you wrote for us. You talked about how people are afraid like AI could be evil. Long before I started the magazine, my first computer was a Radio Shack color computer that used a color
Yeah.
TV, and you loaded the cassettes, and then you got discs and everything. And long before I started Christian Computing Magazine, maybe 5 years, 6 years before, I had the color computer, and I was at a church, First Baptist Church in Leeton, Missouri, and I had my computer set up behind my desk. And one of my deacon's wives made an appointment to come see me, and she goes, "Look, I just needed to talk with you about this because I'm really concerned." I'm like, "What's that?" And she goes, "Your computer." Because the last pastor preached a lot of sermons on the fact that the beast in the Antichrist was going to be the computer, and now my pastor's got one behind him. I'm like, let me tell you, this thing don't bite. It's not. It's nothing to be worried about. No, no. And
Yeah.
yeah, I used AI today without even trying to use AI. I went to the Bible Gateway. The Bible Gateway I wanted to do a little research on what we're going to talk about in the next couple of upcoming podcasts on the Lord directing our path. And when I put that scripture in, it popped up AI suggestions, and that's what it told me, that there were like 89 different Bible verses that were related to this idea of the Lord directing our path. And I read through them, and the word path wasn't there. That's what we used to do, concordance studies. Give me the scriptures that have the word path in it. No, it was making the decision that sometimes direct my steps, or the Lord will, light my direction. It was putting all those together in 89, and it said right there, it was an AI suggestion trying to help me out, and it was good stuff. It was totally good stuff. So, Terry, give us your testimony.
Yeah.
I had Nick do that, and I think that's what I'll do with most of the people when they come on. Share with me a little bit about how you came to become a
Well,
Christian.
you're looking at a guy whose whole life has been engineered by God. And I'm not some super spiritual saint soul. I'm a guy that came out of very humble beginnings in South Alabama. We didn't know it at the time, but we were poor. And there's huge stories that just come out of that whole notion in and of itself. But but we didn't know we were poor. But we had a great life, great community, great church. And at the age of 13, I accepted Christ as my Savior as part of a Vacation Bible School. Raise your hand out there if you accepted Christ as part of Vacation Bible School. So many of us did, and just made a huge change. And I mean, what can a country boy living in the sticks kind of trouble can he get into? Not a whole lot, but it really changed my outlook that God as my provider and as my sustainer, as my director. And so then in high school, I got the dream job as a radio announcer. In fact, I was 15. My parents embarrassingly had to drive me to the local radio station to do a Saturday and Sunday afternoon radio shift. But first love radio. We'll talk more about that in days to come. But so I did that in high school and college. But on the way one morning to the high school, there was lots of, the high school kid always got the short end of the stick, the worst shifts, it's kind of like Mikey in the cereal. Just give it to Wilhite; he'll do anything. And so that was my life there, and it was really troubling. I was worried that my whole career rested upon the shifts that I were getting, that I had at the radio station. And so I remember pulling off side of the road and giving my career to Christ at that point. And I'd given my life to Christ, but I'd never given my career to Christ. And that's what I did. And I'm here to tell you, 40 years, almost 40 years later, it's been I believe, the single most important thing that I've ever done. I know for a fact that the Lord has directed my steps. He's engineered my career. He's blessed above anything that I could possibly ever imagine or ask for. It's just been an incredible ride, and all the way up till now. We'll fast forward a little bit, that I have my own communications business. Who would have ever thunk it? And I help people communicate. I help people change outcomes through the power of strategic communication. That's what I do. And that could be web, that could be video, that could be an old-fashioned brochure, which I still love. And it's all of those things. And sharing my faith along the way. You'll get a kick out of this, Steve, because I know we share a lot of this kind of background. Is about 2 years ago, my wife says, she goes to work every day. I go about 20 steps into my office from here. And so I think she really thought that I needed something to do. And so she, you need a gig. A gig. I need a gig, really? And she said, you do. You need a gig. And I think what she meant is a deadline. Now, she didn't know that I have plenty of deadlines. But I said, okay, tell me about that. She said, well, you really love radio. You ought to consider getting back. I said, no. That ship has sailed. Let me tell you, that ship has sailed. That was a great thought, great time of my life, but that's gone. And so some time ticks on. It's Christmas time, Steve, and I see a post from a friend of mine on Facebook that was very critical of a movie, a so-called Christian movie that was coming out. And typical Terry, I got it from my dad, and said, hey, this local radio station is promoting this movie. It concerns me. So really, without doing a whole lot of research, which, like I say, it's in the DNA, I fire off this fiery dart email to the station manager and said, look, you really need to reconsider promoting that movie. I'm hearing bad things about it. And so he emails me back the kindest, nicest letter that you could email that you could ever imagine. And I emailed him back a very kind letter, and I said, well, I'm just trying to be helpful. Didn't mean to overstep. And I'm an old radio guy. I love it. And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, he calls me the next morning and says, you want to go to work for us? I'm thinking, wow, dude, I just sent you a fiery dart email and you're offering me a job. But so I get to do a weekly community affairs show on Christian radio. It's 100,000 watt FM. It's located in Pace, Florida. It covers a big swath of South Alabama, Northwest Florida, and anybody can listen to it anywhere in the world. I get to interview the coolest of the cool people.
Tell us how. You say
the world can get it by going. It's really easy. It's WOW Radio, just like it sounds. WOWradio.org, and you'll see a listen button there. You can click and listen in, and there's also an easy way right there on the main page that you can find the link to the app, and you can download it. It works with CarPlay, so you can travel anywhere in the world. It's good Christian radio. It's called CCM, Contemporary Christian Music. All the big names that you hear, and so not a lot of talk. We do have announcers, but so this is a big deal. As you well know, Steve, radio has really gone corporate America. So there's not a whole lot of local anymore, and there sure is not an opportunity for local churches and ministries and community organizers to crow about their event on radio, local radio, and so that's what we do, and it's really neat to.
Yeah. All right, Terry, you're not gonna believe this, but we're already out of time. So we're gonna wrap this one up, and next week or whenever the next podcast comes out, we are going to jump right in chapter 4 of the book, Focus Christianity, on how you can let God direct your path. And it really is pretty exciting. I know Terry's got some stories to share. I've got some stories to share that if you, by the way, the key to that is if you acknowledge God, He will direct your path. If you really believe
Amen.
that He's a powerful God and He's in control. So we're going to get into that the next podcast. So, but I wanted Terry to really introduce himself, and I wanted you to hear his love for Christ coming directly from him. Thank you very much for listening. We hope you subscribe. Please share and like this podcast. And if you have any questions, you can get back with me at, Steve Hewitt Ministries at gmail.com. God bless and have a great day. Bye-bye.
See ya.